take a bite. Don't let the wish grow cold.
Oh, I feel strange.
Her breath will still. Her blood congeal. Now, I'm the fairest in the land.
Hey everyone, it's Jonathan, and today I'm back with Jenna for sort of a follow-up to our previous miniseries, but also this is definitely its own thing. This time we're also joined by Mark Brown, and we're talking about a very obscure Disney version of Snow White, a live-action version from before their live-action remake, a live stage musical from 1981. This was yet another random thing I stumbled across earlier this year on YouTube, and I was looking for potential versions of Snow White to cover. Mark and Jenna are always up for obscure Disney stuff, so this was one we had to do. So had either of you guys seen this before?
No, I never even heard of it before this.
Yeah, same. I think only until you, Jonathan, messaged us about it. That was the first time I really was aware of it.
I guess
Yeah.
that's not surprising. This is kind of an obscure thing.
Yeah.
It really is. And I'm kind of surprised I hadn't heard of it before.
Because it's like a Radio City Music Hall production.
Yeah. How did you hear about it?
I think I just found it because I was searching for versions of Snow White.
Because he's Jonathan, he finds it.
I knew I was going to be doing a series on Snow White, so I was searching for different versions, and then I ran across this one. I was like, another Disney one?
Interesting.
This was something that was apparently, like, it ran for several years on stage.
Did it?
Yeah, so it's not
Oh.
like, it shouldn't be as obscure as it is, I feel.
It originated in St. Louis in 1969, and then it opened at Radio City Music Hall in 1979, and then it closed a month later, but then they reopened it, and then it ran until 1980. And then I don't know at what point this recording was made, but
Was it broadcasted?
It was broadcast in 1981, it looks like.
on Wikipedia it says on HBO in 1980, and then they released it on VHS and Betamax in 1981.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's quite a longer span than I would have assumed.
Yeah, it's odd that it went on for that long and it's still this obscure. But I could tell, like, looking at comments from people, some people grew up with this.
They probably had the Betamax or something.
So it's one of those things where, like, if you grew up with it, it's like a favorite thing, like a favorite nostalgic thing. And if you didn't, you probably never even heard of it.
Yeah, I assume so, because I never heard of this.
What are your overall thoughts on it?
It's not bad, but I didn't like it. I'm sorry, y'all, who grew up with this one. I mean, I'll dive deeper into my thoughts, but what I kind of, ironically though, my opinion kind of ended up similar to what I think about the new Disney live action Snow White. If it was its own version, I think I would be mostly okay with it. You know, I might be annoyed at some bits still, but or to be perfectly honest, some parts of this annoyed me more than the Disney live action.
Oh, wow. I mean, I
yeah.
haven't seen Disney live action, so I shouldn't say nothing.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Do you care about being spoiled? But it's
It's fine.
yeah, actually, yeah, I don't really need to compare it. But just there are parts of this that really annoyed me, and then other parts that were fine, or even some parts that were great. But like overall product wise, I didn't really care for it, and I'd say there were a lot of parts of it where I felt like, am I watching the Disney Snow White? This almost feels like its own production, and it just kind of uses the Disney songs and like properties. But then, you know, and then at some point it would like turn around and be almost exactly like the Disney Snow White. So it's, I don't know, I kind of ended up walking away from it being my opinion is kind of negative, but it's a neutral negative. Like, I don't know. The parts I liked, I did like. That's it. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's my thought process. All right.
This is going to be like the Alice in Wonderland Christmas episode again.
You liked it?
So I liked it. I didn't love it, but I mean, I liked it. Like, I guess for me, I felt it was more like the Disney Snow White than it wasn't. So I was actually shocked, like how similar so many of the scenes were to the 1937 movie, and overall vibes and atmosphere and just theme overall was so similar. I thought it was going to be something incredibly different, and incredibly its own thing, but to me it felt very, very much as similar to the original movie as it could have been, if with the exception of random stuff here and there that they changed. But so overall, I liked it.
I think I'm like exactly in the middle of you two. I
Yeah,
think
this is
I'm
just
like
like the
pure
Chris Alice in
neutral.
Wonderland Christmas episode all over again.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Oh no,
didn't
am I gonna be the
dislike it.
negative Nancy of this whole series?
We
Good.
got to collect. We collect all the episodes we three do where we're all at three different ends of this. Well, me and Phantom are at the other ends, and Jonathan's in the middle, keeping us together.
Yeah, I didn't dislike this, but I didn't like it. Like there were parts that were okay. There were parts that I was pleasantly surprised by, but for the most part I was just like, meh, that's a thing.
Okay, so shall we go into it then?
Yeah. The thing that I did like was that they, at least at the beginning, did feel like they were trying to do their own thing. I think the parts where it felt like they were trying to do their own thing, I liked more. So you have,
Really?
Yeah, that's not the opposite of me.
Yeah, that's where I thought it went off the rails too much.
I think I liked that it went off the rails. The beginning, it's odd. Like the whole thing is odd. Like even the parts
Mm,
where I maybe kind of liked it, it's still odd. Like the
mm.
queen comes in at the beginning from the land of Shaitan, whatever that is.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
at
So,
first
so
I
sorry.
was,
I have to
yeah.
jump in here. I don't mean to
Oh,
interrupt, but so
good.
this threw me. This was so shocking. Okay, so shaitan is the Arabic word for Satan or devil. So
Oh
Oh,
you
my
hear this a
gosh.
lot. You hear this a lot in the Arab world, and in my religion, Islam, we have this word shaitan. So when I heard this word shaitan, I was like so shocked. Like, what did they actually just use this word? I'm pretty 100% sure the writers were probably looking up for some like exotic word to describe like something evil or something, and they saw this word transliterated it into English as probably Shaitan, and they pronounced it shaitan, and that's how this became a thing. I am almost 100% sure that is exactly what happened. When we
that
You know
pronounce the
what?
word,
I
that
we
makes
did
pronounce
know.
it
sense.
like we pronounce it like shite. The T we make it like a ah sound, so shaitan is how we would say it. So I'm pretty sure this was transliterated, and they saw TAN and they said tan, so that's where we got shaitan from. So I am 100% sure that is what happened. So me hearing this, in this, in this was like oh, I was just like, whoa, what's going on?
I did think that so at some point, like they had people from her court out, and I was like,
Hmm.
oh no, there's some like Americanized Middle Eastern
Yes.
depiction here.
Hmm.
I don't know. This isn't good. I was just like, this isn't good. Oh no. What? But I'm also like, why?
That's what I
Why?
can't figure out. Like, why did the queen need this backstory? My only thought with that is maybe they wanted a bigger cast because
Yeah.
the Snow White story, it's a very small cast, and they probably wanted a lot of things for a lot of different people to do. So that's the only thing that I could come up with why they added all this stuff to maximize how many people are in this story.
And to be perfectly honest, this is where I get into my negative opinion. I think they kind of actually ruined the story because a lot of these things that happen don't make sense now that they've made these changes. So you have Shaitan, or however they say it, and this makes it so she has servants. But now it muddies the water a little bit because now you've got some like dare I say, I don't know if racism is the right word, but it feels a little like it could be racism. I also don't really get why either because her costume is very like European, isn't it? I still
I
um
saw her as European. I actually kind of
yeah.
missed the Middle Easterns that you were mentioning. 'Cause I was probably just still thinking about Shaitan when I heard that, so I missed the other
I
people.
got Middle Eastern vibes too, so I think it was
Yeah.
intentional.
Well,
Mm.
I don't think. when I say Middle Eastern, I don't think that they were being authentic about the depictions.
No, and it was
I
just
think
like some mixed up things that like, oh, I vaguely remember Middle Eastern people are like this, and like they
And it is
mashed
really.
up a bunch of things that maybe they thought they knew to make up their own
stereotypes,
culture. Yeah.
essentially.
So
Um,
I don't think they were aiming for
yeah,
something specific.
Yeah,
but it's quote
that makes
unquote
sense.
okay. Well, I mean, it was the 70s, 80s. It's quote unquote okay because it's not a real country, and it's like I don't know though. Like it'd be like if I watched a Nutcracker ballet and went, like this is all okay because it's just stereotypes and people aren't really candy or something. Like I don't know. I just think it's not great. But I acknowledge that it's from the 70s and slash 80s, where definitely people weren't as informed as they are now.
Hmm.
Um, but we introduced like Luna, a servant, and I'm like, okay, but why? um,
Yeah,
and essentially, it's to have someone take Snow White to a faraway village to just live, a quote
she's
unquote
really.
break her
Sorry,
spirit. Yeah, it's just like, but why?
I think she's really the Deus ex machina, just to get, like you say, just to get Snow White out, so she could be, scrubbing floors and stuff like that.
I think because they decided to let the king live in this
Yeah,
version, they
Yeah.
couldn't have
Oh,
her
I
be a
should have said
servant in
that
her own
first.
house.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
But
That,
it's like, why even let the king live? Meanwhile, older generations like millennials and Gen Z are such snowflakes, and it's just like they had this where the king lives for absolutely no reason. He adds nothing to the story the whole freaking time.
you should kill the king.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like, having him live kind of ruins like everything about Snow White's motivations in the original story as Disney told it. So in the original story, she's all alone, and she's stuck, isolated, having to do the queen's bidding. So when Snow White gets a lot of criticism for this, but what she wishes for is for someone to love her because she has no one. Like that's what her motivation is. And I don't know why people miss that, but they do. And in this, it's like you completely ruin that. So like there's no reason for her to wish for someone to love her because she does have someone that loves her, and presumably, the people in the court also love her. And instead, when she's in this village far away, stuck doing chores, she's not wishing to find her father and be reunited with him and with the people who love her. She's wishing for her true love. And it's just like, are you okay? Like, do you understand what situation you're in? Don't you care that you're separated from your loved ones?
that is
What, like,
true. I
why is
did
this
think it
still her
was odd.
motivation?
I did think
Yeah,
it was odd that neither she nor her father seemed that upset that they haven't seen each other in like a year.
yeah, or however long it's supposed to be. We don't get any idea of timelines here. But I don't know, if I was kidnapped and forced to work for some unknown person, I love how apparently the musical also sets up that someone's forcing her to work, but then there's no expansion on that.
Luna's
Um,
gone after this scene. I thought she was going to be a
yeah,
main character.
yeah, I thought she was going to be throughout the whole thing, but she's gone after just that one scene.
When they
Or I
first
was
started
like,
doing this, I was like, oh, so there's no huntsman. It's going to be Luna. That's kind of an interesting twist.
That's
And
what
then
I thought
Luna's
too.
gone,
Yeah.
yeah,
and then the huntsman's later.
yeah,
Maybe it's just to
and
get more people to work.
more people with roles, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to get the
It
king in
is a
there, get the
very
Luna in there.
Yeah, it is a very male heavy cast, I will admit that, but it's just I don't know, there's just something so bizarre about this take. I can only assume it's because they wanted to justify having other people in the wishing well scene, but like it ruins the entire story. So I think it was a very bad decision. Unless you're doing your own version of Snow White where her motivations are different. But they're doing the Disney Snow White. They're not changing any of the songs. So she's still singing about finding love, and it's not as powerful because there's other things she should be worried about. She should be worried about, why am I enslaved and taken away from my kingdom, or I guess she's still technically in her kingdom on the outskirts, but away from her dad, away from her subjects. Like, what? I'm so confused why they thought this is a good idea. Anyway, so I feel they really do ruin the story. There's no weight, especially with the king. The king's alive, and every time he's there, it's just like, why are you here? Why are you here? I'm like, and I'm like, okay, there'll be some like plot twist or something where he actually ends up being important for the resolution. And it's like, nope, still nothing.
That is true. Because, I mean, we'll get to it, but you have a scene with him meeting the prince later, and I thought that more was going to come of that, and then it never did.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing it really gives that scene in general, I mean, I guess it's skipping a little bit, but that scene in general does give purpose for the prince being there. Because,
Hmm.
in the original movie, he just kind of happens upon her. We can assume he was looking for her, but we don't really know that he was. So this one, it's like, yes, he was definitely specifically going to look for her. However, I'm like, the king didn't need to be there. It could have just been the prince and the huntsman
Yeah.
being like, let's go find her. Why is the king here? Why do we need his permission? Very weird. Anyway, so that's my Jenna talk about why this musical ended up annoying me quite a bit. So yeah.
I think I went into it thinking of it as its own thing. I wasn't really other than like when the song started, I wasn't comparing it too much. Like, I guess in the middle when I could tell they were quoting line by line, but like at the beginning, I was thinking of this as its own thing. So it didn't bother me that they were changing a bunch of stuff.
Well, how about you, Mark?
Um, I, I mean, up to now, like, I agree that I feel the king was kind of pointless as a character, and Luna also was kind of pointless as a character. But like,
Mm.
I don't know, it didn't. I wasn't like annoyed by it. Like, it didn't like ruin my enjoyment of the musical or what the characters' motivations were or just what was going on. Like, I just kind of thought, oh, okay, they're kind of pointless. But then I don't know, continued watching. So it didn't really take me aback as all that much.
No, that's fair.
What did you guys think of the queen?
I didn't like her. Um, let me just get my negativity out of the way. Um, I do respect that, I imagine it's quite hard to play an evil character sometimes, especially one that's a bit of a drama queen. But
Yeah, over the top.
yeah, over the top. I feel like you kind of have to be a little bit over the top to play the queen. But I feel like she went the wrong direction where it feels a bit too hammy. And then in general, like, and maybe this is really, really mean of me to say, but I think that she was too old to be a comparable
Mm,
competition to Snow White.
I thought the
Um,
fair.
same thing, but then like my first thought when she first shows up is, okay, so like yes, she looks old, but she's going to be great when they transform into the hag. And then it wasn't her.
yeah, I actually thought the same thing. I was like, she's not very good at this, but I bet they casted her because she's great at playing the hag. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. And the person who played the hag was actually really good. I liked them.
It was actually
But
the
I
same
was,
person who played the mirror. It was the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
guy.
Charles Hall. Yeah.
yeah. But I was so disappointed. I was like, okay, so she was casted for no reason. Because, like, I was, like, the way she was hammy, I was like, this is probably going to be okay when she's the hag. That's probably why she's here. Okay, just, get over it, Jenna. It'll be better later. And then it wasn't. And I was just, I mean, it was, but I was just like, I don't understand then. Surely they must have had an actress slightly older than Snow White
Hmm.
who would have been an okay casting choice. I don't know who this lady is. Maybe she's very respected or something.
She has a Wikipedia page, Anne Francine.
She's one of the only people who does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much stuff she's done.
Does anybody know if she's done anything else? I don't really look up the cast.
Her filmography has a few items. She was more of a stage actress.
Yeah.
Mm, okay.
She was in an episode of the Mission Impossible TV series in the 70s, and she was in the Crocodile Dundee film. Those are the only two things that I recognize off of her filmography.
Okay. Well, maybe she's a respected stage actress, but I just thought that she didn't do it well. And because she was so much older, I felt like the message of okay, at least, again, maybe I'm projecting onto the fairy tale of Snow White myself, but I feel like Snow White is kind of a morality tale about outer and inner beauty, right? Like the queen is beautiful, but Snow White's more beautiful because she has inner beauty.
Hmm.
Um, and eventually that vanity destroys the queen. Whereas this one, I feel like she's too old to be comparable, to even be competition for Snow White. And Instead, it kind of almost makes it a tale about aging. And it wasn't helped that I feel like they made the queen stupider. Like, for instance, sending her off to a faraway village, and she thinks the mirror is going to be like, oh yeah, because we just forget about Snow White, she's no longer more beautiful than you. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, her one of her lines was about making her do like backbreaking toil until she becomes a
Mhm.
hag.
Yeah,
So
that's
she
Yeah,
kind of what I
she
got
thinks
from
that
it too.
overworking her is going to make her exhausted and ugly.
And wrinkle it and all that.
I guess. I don't know. It just felt more stupid to me.
I mean,
Um,
it's not a great motivation. It is kind of dumb.
yeah, like I don't understand what they thought they were doing by adding this. Because like say what you want about the queen being vain, but I do feel like the Snow White queen. Well, I say this. I feel like the Disney Snow White evil queen is a little bit intelligent. Maybe not in the original fairy tale because she has to try like 3 times to get Snow White dead. But
She's
well then
calculating in the Disney
yeah,
version.
yeah, she's calculating. Whereas I feel like in this one she really isn't. And I don't know, especially combined with her being older, I was just like, am I just watching like the evil queen with dementia or something? Just I, and I feel like that's, that maybe that's mean, but it doesn't make sense. It's like if you're gonna make her older or she's played by an older actress, why not lean into that? So she's bitter but she's wiser. Like she has the experience of life behind her. She can manipulate people, yada yada. But it doesn't feel like they went with that. She just kind of does things to do things. But yeah, so that was my take. Go ahead.
I think most of these changes are they're doing them because they think they need to because that's what happens in the story. All of the
Yeah.
changes that they made feel like they were necessary to serve the we need a bigger cast thing. I think
Mm,
that's probably partly why there's a king. And then because they have decided the king lives in this version, then they've got to change the plot so that Snow White is sent away before she's attempted to be killed. So I think most of the problems could have been solved A, by not expanding the cast, and most definitely by just killing the king. Just have the king die, then a lot of this is solved. I don't know that you necessarily automatically get a more intelligent queen, but I think it would help some of these odd things that you're noticing.
mm,
I think one of the reason the queen is calculating and quote unquote intelligent in the Disney animated film is because she's the only ruler of that kingdom, so she has to take on all the responsibility. And like you said,
mm,
because the king is alive in this stage version, she's not necessarily have has all that responsibility of ruling this kingdom or whatever responsibility she has of ruling this kingdom because the king is still alive. So maybe that also plays a part into it. I don't know.
yeah, you have a point. She just kind of, at least the Disney version, yes, she has more power, I
Power,
guess,
yeah.
is one way to
Hmm.
phrase that.
Mm,
Whereas this one, she doesn't really.
yeah.
She has
And I,
magic power, but not any real world power.
yeah, and that's kind of why she has to rely on her servants to do things for her. But it kind of, I don't know, I feel like it diminishes the power of the villain, and I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't really feel like that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, because I never really at any point felt like this queen was a threat. She was just kind of a goofball.
There is one line that's from the original Disney Snow White. Hold on. I wrote a note. Here we go. How does Grumpy know about the Queen's powers when she just married the king a little bit of time ago?
I thought the same thing.
I'm
Yeah,
guessing she had these powers from her original kingdom, and they all are aware of that already.
but it would be odd because the dwarves are so isolated, presumably.
I don't know. I
Um,
feel they get news around.
yeah, but we don't really see them connected with anybody. I mean, I feel like at least in the original Disney Snow White, it's implied they're kind of
They lived
isolated.
under her.
Yeah, but by that, in the Disney Snow White, she's been ruling for a while,
Yeah. Mhm.
and so they would. I think that over time, it makes sense for them to eventually know that she's been ruling for a while and she has powers. Whereas I
Mhm.
feel like the timeline is really uncertain in this version. So it's like, how long has she been married to the king?
It doesn't
Has
seem
it?
long at all to me.
Yeah. If I don't know, is it taking place over a few days, over a
In
few
my
weeks,
head, it was a year,
months?
but I can't remember if they actually said that or not.
I
Because
never heard a year.
I feel like somebody said something about a length of time, like how long she'd been away, but I don't remember at what point. Because
Well, I think
I was just thinking a year for the whole thing. Like she was sent away, and then a year later, like they were going to bring her back, quote unquote, but actually kill her.
I don't remember if the queen said something about saying to the king that she was going to send Snow White to Shaitan, however you say it, for a year. So that would be like, I don't know, maybe if she said that, maybe you thought, oh, it's been a year, but I don't think it has
It
been
could
because
be. I don't know.
the king doesn't seem concerned about Snow White being gone because he thinks she's where she's supposed to be.
Hmm.
I think the
But I
king
don't
was.
know.
I feel the king was gaslit into thinking that Snow White's away, but like she's in good hands.
Well, they
Yeah,
had the whole reason for her allegedly leaving was to go back to Shaitan to study their
Mm,
culture.
yeah,
which, to be honest, is actually not a bad. Out of all the changes to the story, I actually thought that made sense. I think it makes sense if your wife comes up to you. It's just like, I want our cultures to really like be congruent with each other. Can we send your daughter to my original kingdom so she can learn
Hmm.
and gain experience being a diplomat essentially? And it's like, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
The
But
only thing that
I
did
don't
make
know.
sense was that she didn't want anybody to say goodbye. She told Luna to take her away before anybody had a chance to say
mm,
goodbye.
Yeah, that's the only thing that didn't make sense. Where I think the king is probably an idiot.
Yeah.
I guess in the stage show they didn't want to show them saying goodbye, but it's like you could just imply that that scene happened. We don't need to see it.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't think that they needed to say goodbye. It didn't make a ton of sense there.
Yeah. But as long as we're talking about changes, anything else you want to talk about the changes before we go into the rest of the story, maybe?
It's not that consequential, but I thought it was odd that in the part where she first consults the mirror, he tries to lie to her.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
That
I
was
thott that was
interesting.
bizarre.
I like
Yeah,
that actually. I feel if you're gonna be a smart servant, if the queen, you're gonna try to lie to her first. You're not gonna try to put yourself in to get smashed.
it does kind of imply, is he worried because it's kind of his opinion and he's worried the queen will be mad at him?
I don't know. I mean, this still does beg the question, like, how far does his power go? Because, again, I think I've said this for multiple other versions. Why now does he think that Snow White is more beautiful? Like, he just meets Snow White. So is it because he has only just met her that he now sees, like, oh, somebody's more beautiful than the queen?
I think, again, this is kind of goes along with what I think is wrong with that they changed in this version. So in the Disney movie, it's implied that the queen married her dad, and then eventually her dad died. So there's a period of time when Snow White was presumably a child, right? So Snow White was not competition to be fairest in the land compared to the
Yeah.
queen. And then, but now she's
Now
aged
she's
and
of
she's,
age, yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
she's a woman now. Now she's competition.
Yes. Which makes
Yeah,
sense there in that regard. But there have been other versions beyond this where Snow White's an adult by the time like it's like the mirror sees her and then suddenly, oh, there's somebody more beautiful. And I feel like this is one of those where it's not like the mirror was aware of her before and he waited until she grew up and now he believes that she's now become more beautiful than the queen. It's like he meets her for the first time and it's like, oh, somebody's more beautiful than the queen, which is how this one felt.
He
yeah, I
just scored a
guess.
higher ranking on his scale.
That is kind of like, why does the queen care? If this is the case where it's totally subjected to the mirror's opinion, why does the queen care about his opinion then? Like,
I don't know. You could ask that about a lot of fairy tale logic.
yeah, he's just social media before social media. Like, I think you have the most followers. Oh, never mind. Snow White surpassed you.
Perfect. Yeah.
I also thought he sounded strangely robotic. But yeah, I don't know why though. I guess that was just how he decided his voice should sound.
Maybe to differentiate him from the hag that he plays also
Mm.
later.
Yeah, maybe he put on a bit more of a voice.
Yeah,
As long as we brought up the hag, should we talk about the hag?
sure.
I like the hag a lot more than the queen. It improved once
I think
it
I
was the
did
hag.
too. The mask wasn't great, but I liked the antics.
Yeah.
Mass was what I expected it to be.
Actually, I will say the mask and the overall for the dwarves too. The masks are like good and bad at the same time.
I think I
Um,
felt the same way. Like there were
yeah,
aspects of the masks that I was like, "Oh, that's kind of clever." Like the mouths were okay,
Dopey
but
was
the
creepy.
eyes,
yeah.
especially Dopey, the eyes were
You,
not.
you don't want that looking at you at night when you wake up.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like in the context of a stage musical, so like I think part of the problem with filming this version was these masks were meant for being on a stage and being at a
True, true.
distance.
Mm,
That's what I
Um,
was thinking for multiple
yeah,
things. I was like, I feel like, because like we didn't go to plays much at all when I was a kid. I remember going to a
yeah.
Charlotte's Web play, and the costumes didn't stand out to me as anything odd. But I feel like if it had been those costumes in close up, I don't think I would have liked it. And when it got to the scene with the animals, I was like, oh, I don't like this at all. But then I was thinking,
Mm,
if I was out in the audience and really far away from these things, I don't think I would care.
yeah.
I think it was just one of those things where these weren't meant for close ups.
Yeah, which is kind of strange that they even filmed this. But yeah, I feel like whenever the camera had a more far back shot, they you could actually see why the masks were designed this way because they look so much better. If anything, whenever it was shown from far away, it really grow on me. Like actually, that looks a lot like the animated movie. That's kind of cool. But then you get the close-ups, and or as you mentioned, Dopey was probably the worst of them because he just had like black eye, shadowed in eyes where the eye holes were. It's very weird.
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, while some of the other dwarves, like, it looks like the actors had their like the insides of like their faces painted white.
I think they
Um,
did, but I
yeah,
but I don't know why they didn't do that for Dopey also.
yeah. I don't know if he's too far back in the whatever he's wearing the mask to see anything.
Maybe?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah, but like from a distance though, they looked fine. So I think combination good and bad. They were probably a lot better to see on stage than they were to watch in this.
Hmm.
Like I thought the hack was quite good.
For me, when the hag came out, the first thing that well, not right away, but as she talked, I started to think doesn't sound like her. This sounds like someone else. Sounds like a
Yeah,
man's voice, but I couldn't know for sure. And then the credits came. I was like, ah, okay, that explains it.
yeah. I actually didn't realize it was the same person who played the mirror until I saw the credits. I actually watched the credits to explicitly because I was like, I don't feel like this is the same actress as the Queen. So I watched the credits to verify whether it was or not, and I was like, okay, it's not.
Yeah, I knew by that point I knew I had not read the Wikipedia page fully when I first started watching it because I watched this in two chunks. I watched like the first half and then the second half later. So after the first half I went and looked at the Wikipedia page and then I saw that the Queen was not the hag. The person who played the mirror went on to play the hag. And then I was disappointed in advance. So I knew that
Uh,
I was not going to get the great over the top performance that I was expecting from the actress playing the queen. So like it didn't matter that much, especially because there's a mask. I did like the performance that was given by the
yeah.
guy playing the hag. So it was fine. I just was looking forward to seeing this queen made up like a hag because I thought she was going to give a great performance.
Yeah, it reminded me of so Disney parks. I really like to watch the sculpted characters, so the characters that wear masks. Like I think they call it animating, where they kind of like gesture to what's being said in a kind of dramatic fashion.
Hmm.
Um, but it's on purpose so that people further away can see what they're doing. And yeah, the hag was doing a lot of that, so I really liked it. She's still not as good as the Phantasmic hag, but like she's okay. Should we talk about the rest of the cast?
We could talk about the other cast. I don't have a ton to say about them other than I think they all did fine. Like the side characters that weren't in the original movie were forgettable, But like Snow
Yeah.
White, the Prince, the Huntsman, I think they all did fine.
Snow White, I thought she was pretty good, and the Prince, I thought his voice was pretty similar to his singing voice, at least was similar to the singing voice in the original movie.
I thought his was a bit more like deeper and powerful than the original.
Mm.
Um, which is okay. I didn't mind. I didn't care for it. I mean, it's probably not what I would have preferred, but it was okay. Snow White was okay. To be honest, I kind of wish she tried to speak a little bit more like the movie, but I could tell she was hired for a singing voice, so it's okay. And she also actually looks quite a lot like the animated Snow White when you look at her face.
Yeah.
Um, so that's okay. The dwarves were really good. I think they saved this whole thing. Yeah, so it was kind of just like interesting to watch them, and they were really good at like the physical body language. It was kind of fascinating to watch the animating, particularly Dopey, which I kind of forgot there was an audience until the dwarves came on, and you could finally hear the children reacting,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and you could hear how much they loved the dwarves. It was actually a little heartwarming.
Mm. Hearing the audience is my favorite part, I think, of the whole thing.
Yeah, I kind of wish they were more vocal throughout, but like hearing the kids just like react to everything. Because I feel like sometimes that's the best part of children's performances, where the children are really invested what's happening, and they're reacting. It's
Especially when she's just about to bite that apple.
oh my
I
gosh, it's
love that.
no.
The whole stadium just was shouting at that
Yeah,
point.
and I did think it was funny because the actors just keep going on,
Yeah,
and I
they
was like, they're
like nothing's
used to
happening.
this.
They tune it out.
Yeah, they're used to this reaction, which is good because it meant a lot of kids were really invested in the show. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, but it really does go to show just I don't know. There was part of it where I was just like, despite how old the movie is, it still speaks a lot to children, at least in 1980, 1979.
Hmm.
Um, though I think today as well. And so I don't know. I just enjoyed hearing the audience react.
Yeah, I think that I probably would have liked this more in person than watching the equivalent of an ancient VHS tape.
Yeah, I think I probably would have enjoyed it more in person as well. I don't know. There's just something about large auditoriums of children reacting to the shows,
Hmm.
especially when there's something traumatizing.
I think that I couldn't always tell what the audience was doing, but I think that the Hag was very well liked as a character, like a good villain to hate.
Yeah,
I like my favorite, probably my favorite part of the whole thing, randomly, is once Snow White is dead, not dead, but
yeah,
whatever. The hag goes, "Now I'm the fairest in the land," and then runs
yeah.
out the room.
Mission accomplished.
Just the way that guy delivered the line and his body
Yeah,
language, I thought he was a great hag.
yeah. Well, you gotta commit when you play the hag. You gotta fully commit.
I mean, he really did.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I don't know, like I kind of always like over the top hammy performances. Like I don't know, I just enjoy it.
I will say for me, it could go either way.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like, it's actually this performance is both for me. I didn't like the queen. I thought she was hammy in a way that didn't enchant me, and then the hag was hammy, but like, I liked it.
Hmm. Yeah, I felt the same way. I liked the hag more than the queen. I didn't really like the queen that much. She wasn't that of an inspired of a performance. But then the
Well,
hag kind of
yeah, that's
saved the
why I was
character.
disappointed that it wasn't her as the hag because I
Yeah.
thought, okay, she's hitting the wrong side of hammy for me right now because she's playing the more regal queen. But later it's gonna switch up. It's gonna be different because
Yeah.
of that role. Like, nope. Like,
It would have been interesting to see. Like, I don't know if they had it that way from the very beginning.
I did wonder if she was too old to do the more physical aspects of the hag, and that was why they.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I
It
don't
could
know.
be, actually. Yeah. Because that hag was not acrobatic, but the hag was active.
Yeah, she moves. She did be moving.
Yeah.
She moves.
Yeah.
I feel there's a deep lesson in that somewhere, but for me, like for the dwarves, I think my only complaint about them, or what I wish their voices sounded more like their voices in the animated film. I think that was if I was annoyed by something, I think that was what I was annoyed me the most. But I wasn't really annoyed much in this movie in this thing. So, but that was the thing that kind of stood out to me. Like I
It did
just,
take me out a little bit,
hmm like I
especially
understand it's their
Grumpy.
voices; they shouldn't necessarily have to match. But I don't know. I
Yeah.
just would have liked it.
Or I would have appreciated a bit more of an attempt to try.
Yeah,
Like Grumpy in particular, I don't know, there's just something about like the
you just sound like a
disconnect.
southern guy.
Yeah. But he did grow on me. Actually, the dwarves ended up growing on me despite it because they had pretty good stage presence. I would say the only one that I was really disappointed with was Bashful,
Hmm.
because it kind of felt like Bashful's my favorite. He's my buddy, my pal. He's just a cute little thing, and I felt like the person playing
Oh
Bashful just,
gosh.
oh, and I feel like this Bashful just wasn't. He was too
Bashful.
bashful as an actor, like he didn't go into it enough, in my opinion.
Did he have really any standout scenes? It didn't really
He had
feel like he was
lines,
given much to do.
yeah, but he had lines just like the original movie. But he just didn't like sink his lines like the others did. Even Sneezy was better in my opinion.
Hmm.
Oh, I thought the Doc was really good. I was kind of surprised because I actually don't care for Doc that much, but I really liked
Hmm.
Doc in this. And I was like, it would actually be kind of hard to like consistently have to remember the lines of dialogue Doc switches up and like
Yeah,
say it that way
yeah.
all the time. Would be actually very difficult, I think.
What are you and who are you doing? I always love that. Or can I
Yeah.
make dapple lumpkins and a lumple dampkins? Apple dumpkins. Oh yeah, crapple dumpkins.
Yeah, there was so much in those scenes that was like straight out of the movie.
Yeah. But they translated like surprisingly well to stage, and I was not expecting that. Like, if you'd asked me if a lot of those scenes could be just translated to the stage without much alteration, I'd probably say no, probably not. It'd probably be too slapstick to really go to stage. But no, a lot of it was pretty much faithful, and it worked okay.
And it was still
I
slapsticky. Like the dwarves were
Yeah,
really good physical actors.
yeah, that's what I mean by their stage presence. They had good stage presence. They had good body acting. So I think it worked because they were
Hmm.
able to do that. The only scene that they weren't able to do, which I figured they wouldn't be, would be washing their hands. I was actually surprised they even did the lead up to that scene because I was like, are we gonna see Dopey swallow a bar of soap? But no, they didn't go that far.
On
That's
Um,
my other.
Wikipedia, they list that song as being included. So I'm wondering
really?
if it was in earlier versions of the play, and by the time that they got to recording it, it was no longer in the play. But it is
Mm,
listed as one of the songs that they do for the play.
I was thinking it would be a hard scene to translate on stage. Maybe it just didn't work well, so they took it
I
out.
was wondering how they were going to do it, and then they didn't do it at all. They cut
Yeah.
that and another song. The Prince had his own new song for the show, and they cut that for this also.
Oh, weird. Was it just for the recording or just out of the play entirely?
It's listed as a song from the play, so I don't know if I don't know how long it lasted.
Hmm.
So I don't know if there's a recording of it or not. The song was "Will I Ever See Her Again?"
My other complaint was the washing up song. I wanted to hear that. That's like one of my favorite songs in the movie,
Uh,
so I kind of wanted to see that. But oh well.
Trying to think of what else to say. The prince was okay.
The animals were interesting because I guess
Oh yeah.
that's the only way they could do them, making them like 6 feet tall animals with the duck or whatever bird
I
that
feel
was.
like more puppets would have been better. Like you had a few
Yeah,
puppets in there, but like you have rabbits and ducks that tower over Snow White. It's
even the
like,
dwarves tower, so they're like the tallest dwarves I've ever seen.
yeah, not all of the dwarves were little people. There might have only been
Yes,
one actual little person in there.
yeah, I thought,
No, I
yeah.
think they were. I think they were like most of them were little people, but two of them were just short, like normal people. I think
Well, it was
Doc
like a
and
forced
Kathy.
perspective thing, like certain.
It could be.
parts they've seen
Plus,
color. I
the
don't know.
big head probably added extra height to them also.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure like most of them were little people.
I don't think Doc was, because Doc seemed
That's what I mean.
extra
I
huge.
I think Doc and Happy were just short people. I don't think they were little people, but I don't know for sure.
they're just 5 foot.
Yeah.
I like when when they send Dopey up the stairs to go see Snow White, and he runs out, and then they drag him back. I thought that was pretty good, like physical action by the dwarves there.
It translated really well.
Yeah,
They really mimed the cartoon action well
Yeah.
in real life.
yeah.
It was surprising how much of the cartooniness was moved onto the stage. Like, I wasn't expecting that.
I actually really, weirdly, really enjoyed that part. That was like, the dwarves were my favorite part of this because you ever like see something so much that you kind of lost the original experience you had while watching it the first time. And I feel like that's kind of the humor of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs movie for me. I feel like whatever I might have felt the first time I watched it is kind of lost because I've seen it so much now that in a way I weirdly like I feel like the dwarves get too much screen time in the movie. But I know that's just because I've seen it so much. But like seeing it on stage instead kind of like made it new again.
Mm.
And I liked it because it helped me enjoy the humor. I don't know. That might sound weird, but I liked it. It kind of reframed it for me to be able to make it new.
Well, it's nice you got something nice out of it. And
Oh,
it wasn't
okay.
all terrible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I might rewatch the parts with the dwarfs again. I don't think I'd rewatch the whole thing.
I wouldn't mind rewatching it.
We haven't mentioned it much, but what did you guys think of the Huntsman?
It was all right. I didn't really have a strong opinion about him one way or another.
I think weirdly, the changes to his character actually really made him a stronger character. In the original, he just seems to be somebody of the kingdom, and reasonably could be loyal enough to the original royal line that he wouldn't want to kill Snow White. Whereas this one, like, he comes from the same kingdom as the queen, he followed her, which doesn't make a lot of sense for her to bring her own huntsman, but whatever. So this one, it's kind of implied he's loyal to his queen, but he's such a moral character that it was against his morals to kill Snow White. And I don't know, I feel like weirdly that kind of makes him a stronger character than the Disney one.
He had more to do, definitely.
Yeah. And then he comes back too to like help the prince, right?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me, like, it's not the
Of the
same
Silent Snow
situation.
White.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not the exact
Um,
same situation, but it
yeah.
was similar in that the huntsman was semi-instrumental in saving Snow White. I don't think you really see him again after that, but it's implied that he's helping the prince find her.
Yeah, so like weirdly I feel like they made him a stronger character again than he was in the Disney Snow White.
Yeah.
But, was it needed to make him from Shaitan? No, it wasn't needed. And I think they still could have made him a strong character without that addition, but it does make him really more wholesome in a way that he's such a moral character that it's against his being to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
And in a weird way, I guess it could also say, so like the evil queen is evil. Luna is totally fine doing whatever the evil queen wants to do, but like the huntsman shows that just because the evil queen is evil, not everyone from her kingdom is evil.
Yeah.
I don't know if they meant to do with that, but I don't know if you're gonna bring in a whole other kingdom, that's the implication I would get from that.
Yeah, I don't think I really took away that the kingdom itself was evil. It is odd now knowing that the word maybe means Satan if they took the word from the different language. But like my takeaway wasn't that the whole kingdom of Shaitan was evil. It was just the
I
queen
didn't get that
was.
either. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying there's some implication when you have her own servants from her kingdom with her, and at least one of them is very willing to do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
But again, I just think it's weird that they even brought in another king, like a faraway kingdom like this.
Yeah. I mean, all of their additions were odd. They
Yeah,
didn't bother me. They just seemed like, okay, that's a thing for this version. Like, until they started taking line by line from the Disney version. I wasn't thinking of this even as the Disney version. Like I
Mm.
was just thinking of it as another version of Snow White.
I just think it makes it messy, and if you add something to what's already a established version,
Yeah.
then it should support or it should support the established version as well as the established version supporting it. And I feel like that's a little arguable about whether it does or not. But if you are bringing in this whole other kingdom and like people from this other kingdom, I don't know. Then we kind of go into like, is the evil queen? I don't know. I start to wonder like, is she representative of the people of this kingdom? Like, what's the situation in this kingdom? Is she like the sister of the ruler there? I don't know. I'm just like now I have questions. I guess I prefer this isn't established in the Disney Snow White either. She's just mysteriously from anywhere. But I kind of prefer the silent version where she was a lady of the court.
Mm, yeah.
I kind of like that too because it insinuates that she was an opportunist and manipulated her way to being the queen.
Yeah.
But, that's not the only way you could do that. Definitely not.
Well, I guess we could talk about the end. I did think that the ridiculous chase went on a bit too long.
So, yeah, I zoned out a little
Yeah, they
bit.
get the most of the animal actors.
That's
Yeah.
true. Their time to shine.
I forgot to say, I really didn't like the animal actors, to be honest.
I
Um,
didn't either, but I have to give props to the turtle because his movements did remind me of the turtle in Snow White, the
Yeah.
animated version.
the turtle was funny. Yeah, that's true.
But other than that, I didn't care for all of the mascot costumes.
I may be spoiled. I am spoiled, but like Disneyland, we had a Snow White musical only like half an hour,
Mm.
but it was 2003. The costumes were so much better for the animals. I don't know. I just thought of them the whole time. I was just like, we didn't know what we had.
We don't recognize what we have until we don't have it, right?
We don't realize what we have until it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah. But anyway, so I don't know. I was just kind of like, I know this could be done better, so it was hard for me to enjoy it. But I acknowledge that that's me looking back with a production, later in time.
Yeah,
Um,
a whole 20-ish years later, at least.
yeah, like
Mm.
it's not necessarily fair of me
Mm.
to judge it based on that. But I was just, I don't know. Sometimes I have to just be like, my boy, what did they do to you? Like.
I find it weird, like when they had the yodeling song and the animals were like in the living room. It was like they actually let them in there because, like, and in the movie, like they're at the window, but
Yeah,
because it's the whole house is open, it's implied that they're inside the living room with the doors. It's like, interesting.
Including the
yeah.
giant, towering, terrifying deer.
Yes.
The deer was a bit terrifying. Yeah, I also thought there was a fox, and I was like, there isn't a fox in the original movie.
You're right.
Yeah, get as many
Yeah.
Yeah.
animals as they could before. They didn't have Google. They went to Encyclopedia Britannica, looked up forest animals, and just got what they could.
Well, the original Snow White, Disney Snow White, is also very confused on where it is located
Geography.
because the
Yes.
animals are all, yeah, from different locations.
Yes.
There's some
Um,
zoologists writing to complain, probably.
yeah,
I'm not an expert, but I don't think there are raccoons in Germany.
yeah, yeah, which is true. Uh, yeah, when I watched Snow White with my boyfriend, he lives in England, and he was like, this is a North American forest, right? And I was like, well, not necessarily, because there's stuff in here that's not necessarily North American forests either. It's a weird mishmash.
They were traveling raccoons.
Yeah, the
They
traveling
moved.
back. Yeah, they moved. But yeah, I don't think the animators are thinking that deeply about it. But I just think it's weird to look at this mishmash of animal characters, be like, you know what? It's missing a fox. Let's throw a fox in there.
Probably just had a fox costume as well, hanging
I
around.
think that's probably it. They might have just had these. There wasn't a bear either, was there? No.
Can't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, there was a bear in the play, but there's no bear in the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just kind of. I get the feeling that they just had some animal costumes on hand.
Yeah, I bet that's the case. Because also
Yeah.
that duck, there's no duck in the movie either.
A
Mm.
terrifying 7 foot duck.
I'm gonna take this moment to say I didn't really care for the costumes in this production. I don't know, they just looked off.
I liked Snow White and the princess costumes.
I liked the queen's costume because she was always flapping it around her.
I don't know, I thought something looked very stiff about the Queen's costume.
I mean,
I don't know.
it wasn't as fluid as the animated version, but I appreciated that she was trying.
And then Snow White's costume wasn't me. Okay, so when the story started, her costume looked more pastel. And I thought it was so she'd match with her dad or something. And then later when we see her back in the dress, it's like this weird it has more saturated colors again, but not too saturated, but there's still like some pastel in like the sleeves. I don't know. I was like, what am I looking at? Is this like video decoration? I don't know. I just thought it
I
looked
think it was
weird.
two different dresses.
Yeah, it was like a combination of two different dresses or something.
I think she had at least three, if not four, dresses in the whole thing.
Yeah, but I felt like I was going crazy. And then it looked like to me that the sleeves. Oh, can I also just mention, sorry, when you see the outside of the theater, it has that huge like image of the Princess Snow White, and I recognized from the image that it was a Snow White park costume, like from Disneyland. And I knew that because of the way the sleeves were done, which is more based off how the historical style that the costume is inspired by, where you had I'm not going to say right, like a base sleeve and then like fabric going over it. So you would see like the base color underneath, alternating color above it. Then I noticed in the musical they did this weird thing where it was like they didn't realize that was it didn't match the poster or the art outside at all. It was like just a sleeve, like a puff sleeve with like little bits of pastel pink stitched on top, and I was like, "This is weird," and I don't like it. This is bad. I don't, but I'm very like I don't know. I'm weird about like princess costumes, but yeah, I didn't like her costumes.
I thought they were fine, but I wasn't giving it much thought, so,
I'm very passionate.
well, somebody needs to be.
Yeah, but I did think it was unusual that the outside was based off the park costumes. Anyway, I'm not sure if I have anything else to say about this one.
Well, we should talk about the end after
Well,
the kiss of
Oh, right.
life.
well, the end. Well, before we get to that, the when they're chasing the queen, I like when the lightning strikes and she just like jumps down to to down below. I'm just thinking, well, not she, is a he, but I was like, I wonder how many times he has to do that, like every day for the week. That looks kind of fun. I hope it's a bed he's falling into. I don't know how it works, but
Yeah, now that you
I'm sure it
mentioned
is.
that, they probably wouldn't want somebody who's in their 60s or whatever to be doing that every night.
that's probably the stunt
Yeah.
guy. Yeah. But yeah, with the end, like I wish the film ended when after he kisses her and she wakes up and the prince and the princess and Snow White like ride off.
I thought it was.
I didn't need the whole dwarfs talking after again, then the king showing up again.
And Dopey talking.
Oh
I
yeah, that
kind of
was weird. And I was just like, they did it before the live action. Oh my God.
oh, does he talk in the live action?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
big twist reveal at the end.
Oh, great. I
yeah.
actually kind of liked it. Like it was, I liked the audience reaction especially, but I was kind of hoping like he might have had like a very deep voice or something that would like throw everyone off.
Now I kind of want this.
Goodbye, Snow White, or
Goodbye.
something. But
Goodbye.
goodbye. So, so I didn't mind that. I actually liked it, but especially the audience's reaction to it. I can imagine the kids going wild when they heard him talk.
Yeah, I suppose. I thought it was odd, but I suppose on stage maybe it hit different.
I don't know. I
And
thought it was dumb, to be honest. I might as well say I think the idea of there being a wedding and the doors being a part of it is cute, but I didn't like that. Okay, so we have the ending from the movie, which is already a perfectly fine ending. But
yes,
they do it wholesale pretty much. And then it's like, okay, it's over. Oh, it's not over?
yeah,
Okay. Oh, we have the wedding. Okay, this could be cute. but they don't really do anything with it, and they
No,
put the
it's just the
credits
credits.
over
Yeah.
the wedding.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then the ending dialogue we see isn't even, it doesn't involve Snow White or the prince. It's the king and the dwarves, and the king basically be like being the bell ringers because we don't want you to be in the wedding itself. That would be you have to be apart from the wedding and do the bell ringing. And he doesn't say that, but that's kind of the vibe I get because I'm like, why wouldn't you want the dwarves to like be in the wedding? Why are they
So,
ringing the bells?
so dwarfs are cheaper than one Quasimodo.
Quasimodo was asking for too much.
Too much. They had to
Um,
get
Oh,
a
we
fire.
should mention too, the king knows the dwarves because apparently they work for him. He said they were his royal miners and they bring him all the diamonds and jewels.
yeah,
That
So if
was
that's the
like
odd.
case, then okay. Actually, never mind.
really, really bizarre choice. But and somehow with this connection that they've made, it makes Grumpy's line about the evil queen being having powers even weirder. Because it's like, okay, so they have connections to the royal family, but she just got there. How does he know she has powers, but the king doesn't know?
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Never thought about that.
They just introduced too many things for no reason that don't add anything to the story, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel they were trying to give a reason for the whole why the dwarfs actually work in the mine, because like we never actually see them like sell the gems or do anything. So I guess they were trying to phone in a reason. Oh, the reason they're doing this is because it's part of the they're the royal miners for the king, and they deliver it to him. Because otherwise, it's like just the dwarf mining and going home and doing it again the next day. I feel that's probably what they were trying to do with that.
Why is it like people keep to be honest, I think the implication in a Disney movie that they basically just mine the gems to just shove away and do nothing with is kind of funny. Um, but like, okay, all right, so we need to give a reason. Why don't we have a good reason in any version then? Why do they keep making these?
Because there is no
They
good reason.
Yeah, they just keep trying to expand it. Well, like okay, so the live action version, it feels like they go so close to almost saying, well, they're doing it because the gems are magic, and that's important for some reason. But then they never actually go all the way. There's all this implication that they're magical and that there's a reason why the dwarves are probably looking for them, but maybe they cut it out for some reason, but they don't actually say it or do anything with it. And then in this, it's kind of like just a throwaway line. Yeah. Oh yeah, we do it for the king. Okay. What do
The end.
what do I do with this information? Isn't the story over? Is it not over? Am I gonna get a bunch of weird exposition?
And then Luna shows up.
Does she? I forget already.
No, no, she doesn't. But I'm just saying, like,
I mean, she's there
they're
at
just
the
throwing out the
wedding,
word
but the
there.
wedding functions as the final bow, so it's not really canon to the story.
It's
Yeah.
not Luna. It's I forget her
Can
name.
I,
She was a Sri Lankan actress, but I whose name I forget.
but I hated that they put because I was kind of like, okay, making the wedding the bow is like okay, like it's okay. But I hated that they put the credits over it because I'm like, okay, this doesn't really feel like an end then. 'Cause I can't really focus on the wedding and the bow.
Hmm.
You put credits over it.
I
What a
guess
strange
it's.
editing choice.
I think it's again like it's made for the people in the audience, so
Yeah.
that they see it better than us watching it on VHS.
But like, I don't know. I prefer like if they wanted to put people's names on as they're bowing, why not just do it like put their names on as they're bowing?
Yeah.
I think would have been better, and then they could have done like the rest of the cast and crew right after the final bout.
Part of it, I
Probably.
think, is because we're used to a specific type of way that this type of media does things. But this is
Mm,
late 70s, early 80s. So this is
yeah,
new for them. So they kind of were just making it up as they went. So they didn't really have other things to compare it to be like, oh yeah, we should have the credits be on a black background after the bow.
I guess.
They were the originators.
Yeah. Though I think in general, this whole thing had a weird like TV musical vibe of the 70s, which I guess it kind of was.
Yeah. I think that's why I didn't feel one way or the other about it. It was just fine. Like it didn't bother me. Like
Mm.
if it was supposed to be like a full-on theatrical production, like in a movie theater, I think I would be more negative on it. But because it was a filmed version of a stage show that I normally otherwise wouldn't even get to watch, then I think that maybe brings it up a little bit for me, so I can forgive some of the stuff I didn't really like in it. Like, it's fine. I don't have any strong feelings one way or the other.
Nothing is exempt from my criticism. Um, no, I say that. I'm just joking. Sometimes it is. I can acknowledge that we're fortunate to be that they recorded it and we're able to see it. I just think that they made it more messy than it really needs to be.
Hmm.
Or if it was its own version and it had its own songs, I think it would have been better. But it's okay.
And I'm at the other end who like this overall. Very there was little that annoyed me. I had a couple of nitpicks here and there, but overall I liked it for what it was, and like I could see it watching it again. So yeah, this is just like our Alice in Wonderland Christmas special all over again. But so I guess my question to you guys was, let's say Disney decides, you know what, let's bring this show back, and we'll do some changes and we'll update it. And make it a Broadway production again. Do you think overall that would be a good idea and you'd support it, or do you think, nah, actually, let's it's not that good. Let's just have it be in the past, and that was it.
I think it has potential, but don't make it the exact same way. Like, do instead of animal costumes, I would do puppets. Like, really well done puppets. Like, puppetry can be awesome on stage. So do that for the animals. The dwarves, if the faces look better, they could stick with masks. Otherwise, I don't see any reason why they have to look exactly like the Disney versions. Like, they could just be people. I don't know. And I don't think they really need to make the queen from a faraway land and then bring in all these extra characters. And don't keep the king alive. Kill the king. We don't need him.
We
Hashtag kill the
advocate for
king.
the king murder, yes.
Better sight is good sometimes. We support it.
Yeah, I think if you keep a smaller cast, all the weird stuff with adding a ton of extra people goes away. I don't think you need a big cast. So I think this show has potential if you don't bulk it out with a bunch of unnecessary additions.
I'm kind of like, I, don't- I feel like you don't really need to go back to this show to do a Broadway production. You could just focus on the original Snow White movie, because the best parts of it are basically the original Snow White movie. I
Hmm.
don't think there's much original from this one that would be really good to add into a Broadway production.
That's fair.
Yeah, I can't even think of anything that they added that I think that would be good to add.
I liked the huntsman going and getting the prince and then helping him, but that was such a small part of this that it's not, and like part of it is kind of like it goes back to the 1916 silent version anyway, so it's not
I'm almost
necessarily
kind of like
from
add
this
stuff from
anyway.
the silent version onto the Broadway
Yes,
musical.
that
So
is true, actually. I
yeah,
really liked the story in the silent version. So if you could like combine the silent version that inspired Disney with the version that Disney made himself, that's actually a recipe for a really good update to the story.
I agree. So yeah, I can't really think of anything from this particular version that I think would be relevant. The only thing I can really say is like you now know because of this version that this humor can work on stage.
Yeah.
And so that's okay. Like you could take that knowledge. Oh, actually, I will say I did think the staging of the cottage was really good. Like the way it
Yes.
kind of popped open like a pop up book or something.
Yeah, I really
Um,
liked the cottage.
you could have that as well. But other than that, I really can't see anything particularly relevant to this version.
That's fair. Do
Yeah.
we know if this is the first like actual stage production of a Disney film? Because like we all know, like when the actual Disney theatrical company, the first official of that is Beauty and the Beast in the 90s, but like is this on Radio City Music Hall? Is this like the first
Do
stage
we count Disney on
adaptation?
Ice?
No,
I say Disney on Ice.
no.
The I know
When
that
did
they
Disney on
had
Ice start? Because the
Well,
very
Disney
first
on Ice
staging,
that is Disney on Ice itself didn't start until later.
Yeah, but it had that
Ice Capades.
predecessor. Yeah,
Yeah.
escapades. Yeah.
this
Uh,
stage version was created in 1969. So it is much older than the version we are watching.
Yeah, this is just a later film version. Yeah.
I did not know that. Wait, you're telling me that like the script or treatment is older?
Yes.
What?
On Wikipedia, it says the stage adaptation was originally created at the Muni in St. Louis in 1969 and was repeated there in 1972. And then they opened the production at Radio City Music Hall on October 18th, 1979.
That's so weird. Why did they add all this weird stuff?
Pad for time, maybe, because this is a lot
I
longer than
guess.
the animated movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
when I
it's
was
a
watching it,
shame.
I thought it was like 45 minutes for some reason, but then I was like, oh no, it's a whole hour and a half.
Honestly, that for a while there, even though it got better for me, for a moment it got a bit of a slog to get through.
I felt I think I had the opposite experience because like for the first half I was fine. Like it felt like it was clipping on along at a nice pace. It was a different version, different things were happening. It wasn't amazing, but it was interesting. And then it started being like a beat for beat remake of the animated version, and then it like slowed to a crawl for me.
No, I'd say weirdly, even though I enjoyed it more at some point, but at that point I'd been like watching it for an hour and just like, can I take a break? And I couldn't really because I didn't really have a better time to watch the rest of it.
Hmm.
Like, okay, I guess I'm just going. But yeah, I'm really surprised to hear it dates back to the '60s, but I guess that could explain some of the funkiness. Just surprises me. I know Disney on Parade was a thing, but I think that was in the '70s, so I guess this would be the earliest one I know of. But yeah, I'm not an expert on
Yeah, I
that.
can't think of one earlier either.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the first stage show then is based on the first movie.
I guess that just kind of makes sense, but or it could also be tied into like when they re-released the movie again. Maybe it came together at one point. I don't know.
We need a Snow White expert to tell us the context behind when this was made and whether
So
it was
Snow
the
White
first.
expert in the audience,
Yeah,
please at Jonathan North. Thank you. The
yeah.
Well, looking
Dreamcast.
on Wikipedia, they list the years when it was re-released, and the most recent one to when the stage show was first premiered was 1967. So it would have been 2 years before
So maybe,
they
yeah.
created the stage show.
Well,
I
it could
mean,
have
I
taken
guess.
them a couple years, like, sorry, and a couple years to like
Okay.
rough draft it and stuff until '69.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that could have been when they might have gotten some interest into making it a stage show. It was after that re-release.
Get Larry Malton on your show.
Sure. Oh, one random observation. Nothing to do with anything we were just talking about.
Okay.
The prince was introduced as the Prince of Hearts.
Was he? I lost. I didn't miss that.
I missed that too. So he's from the Wonderland, huh?
I just thought that was odd.
It was odd.
Yeah.
Snow White is now linked with Alice in Wonderland.
Snow White becomes the Queen of Hearts.
No.
Crossover we never, we didn't know we needed, or we don't need.
Oh
I don't
no,
know.
that's basically what happens in Descendants.
Is it? Oh wow. I
It's
still
not
haven't
Snow
seen
White, but
Descendants.
yeah,
That's hilarious.
when the Queen of Hearts is a princess, she's super sweet and bakes treats and wants to be everyone's friend. And then something happens and she becomes mean.
It all
Oh
makes
my
sense
god.
now. The Tim Burton films.
One of these days we'll have to do those. I've been saying that for ages, but one of these days.
I'm waiting. I have a lot of thoughts about Descendants.
Well, I think that's all we have to say about this version of Snow White. It's an interesting, obscure piece of Disney history, but unless you're like a super fan, it's not really essential viewing.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say necessarily that this isn't worth watching. But at the same time, I don't know who I would recommend it to because it's definitely not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you like Snow White, the Disney Snow White, maybe if you like obscure stage productions as well.
Yeah.
Disney history, maybe.
There is an audience for this. It's just not a huge one.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what your audience is, I guess. Because,
Nobody.
as much as kids definitely enjoyed this, because you could hear the kids enjoying it, I don't know if a kid would enjoy watching this today.
Probably not. At least not in this format. I'm sure there would be some. Like
If there was a
there's
better quality of it, then maybe.
maybe. Depends on what's
Yeah.
in the Disney archives. Maybe at some random point they'll finally decide to put it on Disney Plus. That would be an odd addition to Disney
A
Plus.
little trend.
I imagine the rights situation is probably a little complex.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be. I suppose Radio City Music Hall probably has some sort of rights held on it.
Yeah. And then whoever filmed this and broadcast it might also have their own rights locked up in it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure the media rights are always a mess. The more people you have making something.
I mean, that's kind of the issue behind a lot of why things aren't on Disney Plus is because some of these situations are just like a little fraught with messiness
Yeah.
that it would take a lot of work to even figure out who would need to be adequately paid.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I know, like I'm pretty sure the Muppet Show they ended up to put that on. They
Yeah.
ended up having to cut out some segments that were just
Yeah.
too legally ambiguous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially because of some of the songs used. Yeah.
Yeah. So this might be a situation where it's like they might have it, but the legal rights could be complicated. They may not feel it's worth to figure out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's probably all we have to say about this one.
Yeah, I think we're good.
We'll be back for other versions in the future. Until the next time, do you guys want to let people know where they can find you on the internet? Mark?
Yeah, thanks for having me, like always. Always a pleasure to talk with you too, Jenna. And yeah, you can find me at my blogs, Animation Combination at animationcombination.com, or also my live action Disney blog at myliveactiondisneyproject.com.
Thank you, Mark. It was a pleasure to talk to you too, as well as you, Jonathan. You can find me at Phantomwise on YouTube or Let's Get to a Fairy Tale on YouTube for non-Alice related things.
Okay. Well, we'll see you in the future for something else.
See you real soon.
Thanks for listening to Every Version Ever. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow my co-hosts as well. My Linktree and all of our links will be in the description below. If you want more of my content, all my podcasts are available on YouTube as well as most podcast platforms. If you enjoyed this show, check out one of the other podcasts or check out my Patreon for bonus and extended episodes you won't find anywhere else. We'll be back soon with another brand new episode, so thanks for listening and we'll see you next time.